all are just as excited as I am about the 26-27 school year. We have lots of information to share with you today. If you have questions, please enter them in the chat box or in the Q&A box, and we'll make sure we answer those questions for you. My name is Shayla Pettigrew. I am one of the First Steps 4K managers. My area of focus is student and family services. So some of you may have heard or talked to me on the phone or received an email from me. And so I'm excited to get this school year started. Before we begin, I want to take a moment to celebrate, and this is going to help me know that you can find that chat box. I want you to put in the chat box, let's celebrate. What are you looking forward to this school year? You can drop an emoji in there for celebration, or you can drop a word in there to let us know what you're most excited about and looking forward to this school year. Aquavia got us started. Wow, new beginnings, learning new things. First time in big school, a new chapter. I am loving all of those things. Yes, let's celebrate. This is a huge milestone. Students from all across South Carolina are about to begin on this incredible new journey, like I saw someone put in the chat. Starting 4K is one of those milestones that you will always remember. I still remember my 4K teacher. So hopefully, and my 4K experiences as well. So we are excited to have you join us today. We're going to have lots of information to share with you. You are in webinar mode, so you can see us, but we can't see you, but we do want you to engage by using that chat. So thank you on behalf of our agency director, Ann Vanderfleet, and our 4K state director, Martha Strickland, for taking a few moments to learn about South Carolina First Steps 4K today and what you and your child can expect over the school year. And I like that, a strong 4K program, because what we're going to share with you today are all the components that make that program strong. So today's webinar will give you a peek into what a typical 4K day would look like. It'll introduce you to experiences that your child will learn. It will help them grow confidence. I want you to think back to your first day of school and what you felt like. What do you remember most? And so our goal is to ensure that your child feels loved and that they feel safe. During our time together, you'll hear from several of our team members, and they're going to share with you what a typical day looks like in 4K. One of the most important things that you can do is make sure that your child is at school and on time. So attendance is priority. You're going to learn about the research-based curriculums that we support and how children learn through play. I like to say that play is the work of children. So just like we have work that we do, play is their work. And you're going to learn about conscious discipline. Now, conscious discipline is an adult first model. It's about self-regulation. And so teachers and adults can't help children regulate their own emotions if we don't do it first. So you're going to learn a lot more about conscious discipline as well. And then some student and family services, family engagement opportunities, how you can be involved and how we want you to be involved, how families are at the center of the work that we do. So lots of things to learn today. I won't hold you any longer because you'll hear from me later on in today's session. But remember to use that Q&A box if you have questions. And I'm going to pass it over to my colleague, Chelsea Adamson.
Sorry, my unmute button was not working. I'm so sorry. I'm so glad to have you all here today. Welcome. My name is Chelsea Adamson. I am a 4K coach in York, Chester, and Lancaster counties. And I'm so excited to be able to interact with some of the behind the scenes of all these cute little 4K students that I get to know all year. I'm excited for this coming year because I can't wait to meet all these cute little ones coming into the classroom. I get to visit the classrooms at least twice a month, so it's fun to see them grow through the whole year. Today, I'm going to talk to you about curriculum and the curriculums that we offer in each of the classrooms. Okay, so our 4K classrooms have the option to select from three state-approved curriculums, which is Montessori, High Scope, or the Creative Curriculum. While each curriculum has its own unique approach, they all share one important belief, which is young children learn best through purposeful hands-on play. These play-centered curriculum provide opportunities for children to explore, discover, and build the foundational skills needed for future success. Okay. And we're going to talk first about the Montessori one. If you are going to be involved in a Montessori classroom, they need to be Montessori certified. So if you have one of these Montessori classrooms in your area, these are a great option. Montessori curriculum emphasizes hands-on learning through self-directed play and individualized instruction with an aim to foster order, concentration, and independence through a carefully prepared classroom environment. Mixed age groups in the Montessori classroom allows younger students to learn from older students and older students to reinforce their knowledge by helping younger students. And in the high scope classroom, if you are in a classroom that chooses the high scope curriculum, high scope curriculum is based on active learning, where students are encouraged to plan which materials they will use and how they will use them. Students explore and interact through purposeful play. I see a question where it says, where are the locations of Montessori curriculum options? So we can maybe answer that in the end, but we'll keep that in mind, okay? Creative curriculum in these classrooms, this is probably the majority of our classrooms that use this curriculum. They're all good, but this is one that is widely used throughout the state. Creative curriculum focuses on purposeful play, positive relationships, and engaging environments. The creative curriculum centers around project-based investigations that are rooted in interesting child-relevant topics and studies. You can see examples of a few of the studies being implemented in the photos on our slideshow. Each of the three curriculum-based classrooms are organized by interest areas to promote different types of play and learning experiences. So our question is, are all these students truly learning through play? Absolutely. Yes, they are. Play is the work of young children. Through hands-on exploration, meaningful interactions with teachers and peers, and engaging learning experiences, children develop the skills they need for kindergarten and beyond. While children are having fun, they are also building language and communication skills, early literacy and math concepts, problem solving and critical thinking skills, social emotional skills, including cooperation and self-regulation, creativity, confidence, and independence. And in a play-based classroom, every activity is designed with a learning purpose. I'm going to show you a few slides with some pictures in them so you can kind of see what is happening in the different classrooms that your child is going to be involved in. In the Dramatic Play Center on this slide, children are using imagination to act out real life experiences while developing language, social skills, problem solving, and cooperation. You can see a child out there using a clipboard, and she probably is taking notes on it to build a restaurant or to order or to build a menu, and is practicing early writing skills and learning that print has a purpose in her everyday life. In the Block Center, children are building more than just structures. They are learning math concepts such as size, shape, balance, and measurement while developing creativity, teamwork, and problem-solving skills. In the Science, Sand, and Water Center, you might see children exploring, asking questions, making predictions, and testing ideas while developing early science and critical thinking skills. And in the Arts Center, children express creativity while strengthening fine motor skills through activities like Play-Doh, painting, cutting, and drawing. These experiences build the hand strength and the control needed for future writing. In the Math and Manipulative Center, children develop early math skills through hands-on activities like counting, matching numbers to quantities, sorting, and problem solving. And in the library, children build early reading and writing skills through experiences like practicing letter formation and connecting letters with sounds. Purposeful play allows children to develop multiple skills at once while building a strong foundation for future learning. And the last thing I want to talk to you guys about today is our ongoing assessments. 4K uses ongoing assessments throughout the whole year. The gold assessment is what we use. It's connected to each classroom, and it's a standard-based assessment used across all 4K classrooms and aligns with the South Carolina Early Learning Standards. Now, I want you to take a deep breath because we're not talking about tests. We're talking about observational play-based assessments, which encompasses the child in their true learning environment, right, where they're doing what they're doing in the moments. These assessments follow widely held expectations that are typically demonstrated by 4-year-olds. And this is, again, not a test, but more of an observation for our teachers to capture them in the moments. Teachers are able to document in gold through observations of students and listening to and engaging in conversations with students. Teachers enter documentation daily, and individualized reports are prepared 3 times throughout the traditional school year. So you're going to see these reports at home with you from your teacher 3 times, at least 3 times throughout the year, where we hold family teacher conferences with parents. So you can see the growth of your child, and if there's concerns, then they'll also talk about those with you as well. These conferences are encouraged with every single center and every single school that we're part of. I am going to now pass this over to my colleague, Charshina, who's going to talk about attendance and schedules.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm happy to be here. My name is Shoshina McMillan. I am a 4K coach. I currently coach in Lexington County, Newberry County, and a small part of Richland County. And as she said, I'm going to be talking to you about attendance and schedule. Attendance and schedule are very important to young children. Your child is, no longer in childcare, meaning, when they were in childcare, they could be dropped off anytime that you wanted them to. But now, when they're in 4K program, we're asking you to drop them off at the start of that time of the program. You have made a commitment to join our 4K classroom. The day starts at a certain time and it ends at a certain time. It is important for you to adhere to those times. Teachers will track tardiness. For example, if the day starts at 8 o'clock and your child arrives at 8:30, he or she may be marked tardy. A child is tardy when he or she arrives 30 minutes after the start of the 4K day. Because the expectations is that your child is at school on time and ready to learn through play. When your child comes late or leaves early, they're missing important aspects of the day. Learning starts the moment your child enters the classroom and it continues until the moment the day is over. This helps with building the skills for school transition. The transition to kindergarten begins on day 1 to 4K. It is also important that your child attends school regularly. We understand, trust me, we do understand that children get sick and things come up, but attendance is important. After a child has missed 10 unexcused days of school, the guardian would need to request an appeal for excessive absence. So, yes, when I said that, to back it up, I had a question in the chat that wanted to clarify the time. So, each school, so you would need to check with your program to see what time that school starts their 4K program. We have some that are a 6.5 hour program and some that are 8 hour program. You will need to ask your provider, that school, to actually see what time they start their program. All right, so next we're going to talk about the daily schedule. Our schedule, as Chelsea said, we're all about academics and we're all about kids learning through play. So our schedule is full of fun and playful activities that keep the children busy, really busy throughout the whole day. Because research and best practices show us that children learn best through play. Students will participate in whole group activities for short amounts of time, as well as small group learning. A lot of time is spent in interest areas. So think about your dramatic play areas, your block, your sand table, your manipulatives, and plenty of outside time. Through play, children learn math skills, phonological awareness skills, such as immersion reading and writing skills. Children would take a short rest. Now, it's important for us to know, for you to know, that children would take a short rest no longer than 45 minutes. So, schedules and routines are so important for our little learners and teachers too. Routines help children feel safe and secure because they know what is coming next and what is expected. There will be a visual schedule posted in each classroom so that students can learn the sequence of the day and begin to predict and anticipate what will come next. When children know what is coming next, it decreases anxiety and uncertainty, allowing children to be more successful. So, next, we're going to talk about kindergarten readiness. Your child's teacher has a job to do. The job is to prepare your child to be successful in school. Teachers are doing this with playful learning experiences. Kindergarten readiness does not look like sight words, reading, tracing their names, worksheets, or reading level books. It looks like building skills through big body play as well as fine motor skills. It's talking and asking questions, discussing books, discovering things through play. It's painting and playing with letters, blocks, learning imaginative play skills and social skills. When we provide children with these opportunities to practice these skills, they are more ready to develop skills like writing their names, counting, skills they will learn in kindergarten. By encouraging a love of reading, playing with words, we are setting them up for future reading success. By talking to them and exposing them to new words, they are growing in their oral language development. And by setting up these very consistent learning experiences at school as well as home, we are setting our children up for success. So while I talked about what teachers are doing, this is how you, the families, can help. You can form a relationship with your child's teacher. When a relationships are formed, it enhances your child's success, helps create a learning environment, and helps your child emotional well-being. When you, the family helps, we are working together with your child's teacher. You can also establish shared expectations. And I want to read this on the slide from you. Everyone, that means everyone benefits when children receive consistent messages and loving support from both their home family and their school family. I'm going to pass it to my colleague Amanda.
Hi, everybody. I'm Amanda Phillips, and I'm one of the coaches in the Upstate. So I'm here to talk a little bit about conscious discipline, which is something that all of our programs use. So like Shayla said earlier, conscious discipline is an adult-first approach to supporting children's behavior, social emotional development, and learning. And it recognizes that children learn best when the adults around them are calm, connected, and responsive. So when you hear discipline, it's not like you typically think of discipline. One of the key ideas is that we as the adults need to be really regulated before we can help a child regulate. So when we stay calm during challenging moments, we're able to model the skills that we want children to develop. So by doing this, we want to build those strong, trusting relationships and help teach lifelong skills like understanding their emotions, self-regulation, and problem solving. So we know that children need to feel safe, connected, and valued before they can be ready to learn. So something else about conscious discipline is that it also provides really practical tools and strategies that can be used both at school and at home, which helps create that consistency that Shina was just talking about. So we really encourage you to explore the family resources that are available on the Conscious Discipline website for additional ideas and support. So now we're just going to go over a few of the practices that you might see in the classrooms every day. So you'll notice that every child will get a classroom job. And these jobs, the purpose is much more than just helping the teacher. It's to give the children a chance to contribute to the classroom community, build responsibility, and develop confidence. So when children know that they have an important role in the room, they begin to see themselves as capable and helpful. And sometimes kids will even be like, I really need to get to school today because my job, is to do this, and I really need to be there for my classmates. And another part of conscious discipline that you might see is a safe keeper box. So it's something that they'll use during a safe keeper ritual, which is just a shared commitment to keep the room safe rather than just giving rules on their own. So as the teacher, she explains or he explains that their job is to be the safe keeper of the classroom, and the children's job is to help keep the classroom safe. So they might put like a little popsicle stick with their name or a picture or some kind of token to make that commitment in the box every day, that they are going to help make the classroom a place where everyone feels safe and respected and ready to learn. And another home school connection, implementing family jobs around the house, talking about being safe. Those can be really impactful at home and help with that home and school connection. And then in the next slide, we're going to talk a little bit about one of the biggest parts, I think, of conscious discipline that we see in our classrooms, which is the calm breathing techniques. So when children become upset or frustrated or overwhelmed, their brains naturally shift into fight or flight. So conscious discipline teaches that taking 3 slow, deep breaths can help calm the nervous system and allow the thinking part of your brain to become active again, which can help our children solve problems and make better choices. So one of the strategies that you'll see is this little star. And what that stands for is smile, take a deep breath, and relax. And then one of the other ones that I'll show you that we can do together is balloon breathing. This is one of the favorites that I see a lot of our kids really love. So you'll start by locking your fingers. You're going to place it on top of your head. You're going to inhale through your nose and go like this. And then on the exhale, you're going to bring your hands back down. So that's something that you'll see students practicing. And something really key about this is that you don't throw this in when kids are already upset. So just like learning letters or numbers or any other new skill, it takes practice. So we practice this when children are already calm. So they're more likely to remember and use this when they experience their big emotions. So again, this is another really great thing to practice at home, and practice it during relaxed moments, before bedtime, before leaving the house. And it helps them build the habit so they're able to use it in the times where they really do need it. And then another foundation of conscious discipline is connection. So when they feel safe, connected, and valued, that's when their brains are really primed to learn and solve problems. Um, so a lot of our classrooms start each day with a brain smart start. So it's just a routine to help. It has 4 intentional activities, and it just helps prepare the brain for learning. So it'll start with an activity to unite, which is to help everyone come together as a classroom family. So it could be a song or a chant or a movement activity just to build that sense of belonging. Next is an activity to calm or disengage stress. So a lot of times that'll be the deep breathing or gentle stretching just to prepare the brain for learning. Then there will be an activity to connect through games or songs or partner activities. And then lastly, an activity to commit, which will help the children focus on the day ahead. They might go over their positive affirmations or commitments or just reminders about how they're going to care for themselves and each other. Another connection practice you might see are I love you rituals. So they're like playful songs and rhymes that encourage eye contact, shared attention, gentle touch, and joyful interaction. So if you hear your child come home and they're singing a slightly different version of Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star or one of the other nursery rhymes, this is where that came from. And then lastly, you might also hear your child talking about wishing well. A lot of our rooms have these wish well pans. Some use other things, but the whole point of it is just for children. They'll place their hand over their heart, they'll take a deep breath, and then they'll think of someone that they want to wish well. So a lot of teachers will put name tags or pictures, and if there's anyone that's either absent, not feeling great, something's going on, they'll put them in the little heart, and then everyone will just wish them well. So again, many of these connection activities can also become really simple family traditions at home, singing songs together, practicing a few deep breaths before leaving the house, saying positive affirmations, or taking moments to wish people well in your home lives too, are an easy way to build connection and emotional well-being. So again, when they experience these routines at school and at home, they develop a stronger sense of that security, belonging, and confidence. So we really hope that conscious discipline is something that can become part of your home life as well as your school life. So now I am going to toss it back to Shayla.
Thank you, Amanda. I thought that was really interesting that Amanda shared that about Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. I attended a graduation on yesterday. I mean, and it's wild to believe that we're still in one school year and we're getting ready for another school year. But when I attended that graduation, one of the parents said that their child learned to play the piano by that Twinkle Twinkle Little Star song, that I Love You ritual that they learn in 4K. So they just learned from hearing it and they learned to play the piano. So I thought that was a really cool and interesting fact, and that she mentioned that. So I'm going to talk to you about student and family services and what that means for you. Again, my name is Shayla Pettigrew, and I'm the 4K manager who supports student and family services. And Student and Family Services is about strengthening the connection between home and school. Just as we're doing today by offering you this preschool power hour, an opportunity to learn more about the program before you enter on your first day of school. And other topics would be family engagement, and so how you can be involved throughout the school year and how the school will communicate with you as family, developmental screenings, attendance, and access to resources and referrals. So if there's any additional information that you need for your community, we can find out or help support you with getting that information. And so that's what Student and Family Services is. Before we go on to the next slide, I do want to share. I noticed in the chat that we do have a few providers and teachers who are joining us. I mean, and that just really brings it into the fact that we want families and providers in the same space. But I do want to let those providers know that there's no training hours available for today's session. So we are glad you are welcome to join us, but there's no training hours because this is for families. So ASQ, you're going to hear about ASQ from your teachers at the beginning of the school year. This must be completed on every student within their first 45 days of school. ASQ stands for Ages and Stages Questionnaires. And the top three reason why this works is because there's a partnership. You as the parent, you get to tell the school what your child's already able to do. Celebrate those milestones. Talk about what they're able to do. And then you get to collaborate on how you want to work on other skills. It educates you on your child's development. What's age appropriate? What's some things for a typical developing 4-year-old, or maybe next goals that you want to set for them? And ASQ Online is easy to navigate. And so what your teacher will do is send you a link. And once you receive that link, you have 48 hours. After 48 hours, the link will expire and they have to send it to you again. And you're going to complete that questionnaire, just answering questions about the things that your child's already able to do. And then you get to help that teacher decide what are next best steps for your child and their 4K school year. So that's ASQ Online. Now, with family engagement, as I mentioned earlier, families are at the center of everything that we do. And so, as you can see by this graphic on here today, that families are in the center of participation, partnership, and communication. So, after the preschool power hour, your individual programs that you selected, they will all host their own orientations. And at the orientation, they will share with you things about their 4K program and what you should expect, like the hours of operation. What time do they start their day? What time does the day end? They will share with you if they provide bus and transportation services. They're going to share with you if there's any information about uniforms and field trips. So that's the important part about that orientation. They're going to talk to you about attendance as well. You should also receive a copy. You can't see this, but you should receive a copy of a family handbook. And that's going to have information in there as well for you. And so, can you go back to the other slide? That's a video for Ready Rosie. Ready Rosie is a family engagement tool that we use as a resource with First Steps 4K. All of our classrooms have access to Ready Rosie. And what Ready Rosie does is it shares what we call modeled moments. So it's very short videos, probably less than a minute, if a minute at all. And it gives you activities that you can do at home with your child. And the teachers will send those out to you, and it's going to connect to what they're doing in the classroom. So if they're learning and have a study of investigation about clothes, then video is going to help support what they're learning in the classroom. So we're going to take a moment and watch this short video about Ready Rosie. We aren't able to hear the sound.
I'm gonna
We're
have
going to
to
get our tech team to work to see if they can get the sound to play for you all.
I'm gonna have to reshare the slides. Do you want to do that? I'll I'll stop sharing. I'll have to reshare them with the sound.
Okay. So while Laura and the tech team are working on resharing those slides, make sure you go ahead and put your questions in, if you have not yet, in the Q&A box or in the chat. I saw lots of questions rolling in, so thank you for doing that. And with Ready Rosie, you're going to get an invitation from your classroom teacher to join. So make sure once you get that invitation to join that you accept it so you can start receiving those model moment videos. And so you will have access. It'll come to you via text or email, whichever you decide.
All right, let's see if you can hear it now.
Together. So how
Yeah.
does Ready Rosie work?
Try it again.
It's as simple as watch, do, and share. You'll receive emails or texts from your child's teacher containing videos called modeled moments. These are short, roughly 2-minute long videos that show real families doing fun activities and games that support the learning going on in the classroom. They show you how learning can happen anywhere at any time. The activities are meant to fit into everyday things you're already doing anyway, like eating a meal, driving to school, or playing at the park. And they don't require any special materials. What's cool about these videos is that they can be handpicked by your child's teacher to reinforce learning that's happening in the classroom. Watch the videos, do the activities with your child, and share with your child's teacher how it went. That's it. These opportunities do more than support your child's learning. It's a fun, practical way to strengthen your relationship with your child and to be a partner with your child's teacher in supporting their learning. And one of the most amazing outcomes you will see is your child connecting the dots of learning and the joy it brings. So let's get started. Below this video, you'll see a place to share with your child's teacher. Let them know now what is most exciting to you about using Ready Rosie this school year.
Thank you, Laura. Yes, Ready Rosie is a fantastic tool. We also have other resources to help keep families engaged. We're very strong on two-way or a multi-way communication between home and school. And so just like I shared with you earlier about that family handbook, you're going to receive a copy of that. We've already sent those out to our providers. They will give you a copy when you attend the orientation. But you'll also have other opportunities for communication, like monthly newsletters that will come from First Steps 4K here at our state office, text messages, emails. There's transition booklets and opportunities to talk about what it looks like to prepare for kindergarten, the things you need to do when you get close to those months leading up to 5K. There's opportunities for you to join focus groups. We have opportunities for parents to participate. The first year that we hosted the Preschool Power Hour, we had a family member, a parent, who participated in this as well. And then there's opportunities for surveys. We want to hear from you. We want to know how beneficial was 4K to your family. Were you able to go back to school because now your child is in 4K? Did it help you with your work hours? Like, we want to hear from you on those surveys and how beneficial it was for you. What was the partnership like between you and the school? So it's all about, just like you would see the newsletter is called The Connection. It's all about that connection between home and school. So it's important that you keep your email and your phone number up to date with us so that we can properly communicate with you. And you can share that information with your school. And another resource that we have available, and I like to share this with families, that your entire 4K year is about preparing for kindergarten. Like, that's the early intervention of the transition to kindergarten. So everything that they're doing throughout their 4K year is preparing them, is getting them ready for kindergarten. And so another program that we offer here at South Carolina First Steps is called Ready for Kindergarten. And it's about that transition to 5-year-old kindergarten, that transition to big school. Now, some of you, your 4K student may be in a school that offers 5K. Then you will talk to them about that transition to 5K. But if they're not, then you're going to reach out to your local school district and get information about that transition to 5K when the time comes. But you can learn more about that on kindergartenreadysc.org. There's tips there that will prepare you for that. And we have a whole team here at our office that's ready to support you. If you see that picture of all those smiling faces, that's them every day. And they're here and they're ready to support you. From our folks, our eligibility team who are reviewing your applications, the folks who are answering the phones and answering your phone calls, to our coaches who are boots on the ground, going into classroom and supporting teachers with the implementation of curriculum, our managers who are supporting those coaches and also offering other areas of expertise. We have a whole team of folks. Even Laura, who's behind the scenes working this PowerPoint for us today. So we have a whole team of folks who are here to support you. So always feel free to reach out. And so now we're at the time. You guys have put some wonderful questions in the chat and in the Q&A. I see it lit up on my side. And so we're going to take some time to answer some questions. Please note, questions about application status cannot be answered during the power hour. That's what our eligibility team is for. They can answer those questions for you. But what we're going to answer today is any questions regarding curriculum, attendance, resources, anything that we share with you today, we can answer those questions. I've also, is Bayless going to join us today with First Us 4K Plus? Bayless is
Yes,
another one of
Bailey's.
our, she's here to join us. So Bayless will be available to answer questions if you have questions about First Us 4K Plus as well. Bayless is one of our eligibility specialists. She has a very special role where she serves between First Us 4K and DSS. So she gets to share her love between both agencies, but she's here to support and answer any questions regarding that as well. So yes, I'm going to invite our team to turn their cameras on, and we're going to answer the questions that you share with us today. Now I will I have a list of questions, and I'll probably pivot some of them to the one I think can answer best, or if you feel like you can answer it, feel free to jump in, okay? Um, and so one of the first questions that I saw, and I'm going to answer this one, it says, where are locations of Montessori providers that offer the Montessori curriculum? We have 3 Montessori providers right now with First Us 4K. There's one in Conway, Hartsville, and Greenville. We also have gained interest from Columbia as well, but Columbia is not a provider just yet. So if you're interested in the Montessori curriculum, you can go to our website, and if you Google free 4K SC and search the providers, type in Montessori, and it will show you which ones offer the Montessori curriculum. So hopefully that answered that question regarding Montessori. Okay, Chelsea, this question is about assessments. Do assessments include observation of ADHD or behavior?
So our assessments are tailored to meet all needs of all students. And because they're observation based, it's not a sit down, test taking assessment. It is an observation based assessment. So it will tailor to all needs and all disabilities that are included in the classroom.
Thank you. And we do use one assessment tool for all of our providers. It's Teaching Strategies Gold. So if you're interested in learning more about the assessment, Gold is that assessment tool that's used. Let's see who's going to get this question. Shina, this one is for you. Did you know I was going to call on you, Shina? So this question is about hours for each different school. Can you reiterate how they find out the hours for their particular school of choice?
Yes, so wait, that froze just now. Okay. So yeah, so you would need to call your school to ask them what are the operating times for the K 4K program at their center. That's the best way to do is ask the director what is the operating time for the 4K program at their center.
Very good. And the second part to that
Mhm.
is what about vacation time or sick leave? How does that work?
That is a good question, Shayla. For my knowledge, we sick leave, they will need to, I'm assuming that they will need to probably send in like excuse so that we'll know that the child is excused. Vacation, fortunately, is going to be considered unexcused absence because the child is not sick, but the child is, well and able to attend. So that goes back to that if they miss more than 10 days, the parents would have to fill out that form that we discussed earlier.
Yes. So with First Steps 4K, if a student misses 10 consecutive days, they are automatically withdrawn from the program. So if they miss 10 days in a row, they're automatically withdrawn from the program. They lose their spot. You have to re-enroll. But what Shina is describing, and thank you so much, Shina, for that, is that if there's 10 days just in general, then those must be excused absences. And so if you have sick time or they're out sick for whatever reason, you want to provide that excuse to your school so they can identify that as an excused absence. Thank you, Shina. Amanda, what about uniforms? Do our programs wear uniforms?
They do not. I think if there was any special case, it would be, maybe some of the private schools might have something, but in general, no, we don't have uniforms.
Thank you. We have in the past provided 4K t-shirts. And so sometimes providers wear those, students wear those on field trips. And different schools do have uniforms if you want to find out from them individually, but we don't require uniforms. Absolutely. Thank you. There are lots of great questions, guys. Um, ooh, Chelsea, this is back to you. If they already know how to write their name, would they no longer practice writing?
What a great question. We write all year long. And I think I also saw another question that kind of pertains to this one in the chat earlier about phonics instruction or phonemic awareness, which all kind of tailors together with writing and reading and those sound-based properties of learning how to read. So because we are play-based, we integrate all of these different things within the classroom. We are science of reading based, which means we do focus on phonics and phonemic awareness and those early literacy skills of rhyming and beginning sounds and all of those things that kids need in order to learn how to read. But we do it in either small group instances. We do it in while they're playing. We kind of incorporate all of those things in it. And it actually is more powerful this way because we're tailoring it to the children and how they're learning instead of making them come into an adult world and sit down how an adult instructs, but we're going into their world and instructing them with how they know and how they can grow and learn. So I hope that answers your question. But yes, we do cover all those things. We'll continue writing all the time. We have a very great writing system where we encourage the children to write and the teachers to sit down at their level and learn more about how to help them write. Even when they haven't learned their name, they're going to continue learning how to write because writing is on a level. So they learn according to how they can develop.
Yes, thank you. I'm excited about Marianne Gibbs if she's going to attend the Pet Metal Pre-K Jamboree so that our teachers even get more training on writing and opportunities to learn more about writing. Yep. Thank you, Chelsea. Let's see. Amanda, what happens if I choose a school for my child, but it's not the right fit? Do I have
Hmm.
other options? Can I change schools? What's the process for that?
So if you've given it a minute and you really feel like it's not the right fit, if you can look up other centers in your area, you would need to contact them, see if they have any openings. And if they do, then you can apply for a transfer request. And it would go through that process. And on a side note, I did see somebody say that their school requires uniforms. Yeah, that's like that maybe like 1 to 2%. I have like one of my charter schools, they do require uniforms, but in general, the answer is no.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah, that uniforms can get tricky because the providers may be requiring it, but First Steps 4K does not require uniforms. Yep. Um, Curriculum shared with families, and anyone can feel free to jump in. I know coaches are working with teachers in classrooms. So whoever feels like they want to share this one with families, how can families learn more about the curriculum? Are there opportunities for information to be shared with them?
I can jump in on this one. If you want to learn more about the curriculum that your school is doing, you can reach directly out to your school to get that. You can also reach out to anybody here at First Steps, and we'd be able to fill you in on the curriculum that they're using, and if you need more insight into that. But communication, asking questions is always the key. And if you don't know where to ask somebody that you know, and we can hopefully figure it out for you.
Yes. Thank you, Chelsea. I know in there's a part in Teaching Strategies Gold. The I used to call it the Family Portal, but I believe it's called something else now. The Engage tab. Yes, where teachers can share activities and the lesson plan and things about that curriculum if they're using creative curriculum, that they can share that with families through that Engage tab. So it's important to have your email on file. Bayless, I see one for you in the chat. If the family didn't receive a connection letter, should the provider reach out?
So, any connection letters that haven't, if the family hasn't received a notice saying that the child has been connected to a facility, more than likely, a connection form just needs to be submitted. You can reach out to me and I can send you a copy if your provider doesn't have a copy, on hand. And then, all of those will be submitted through the connection forms at dss.sc.gov email. If for some reason they bounce it back and say that maybe a child doesn't currently have services, or if there's any issue like that, then feel free to reach out to me, and I'll be able to look into the application and see what the issue might be. But if they haven't received the connection yet, it might have been submitted before the application was fully approved. So, yeah.
Thank you, Bayless. Are you willing to put your email address in the chat if they want to reach out to you? There was a question about, is it too late to apply for the 4K Plus scholarship?
Okay, so I've just put my email in the chat as well. And then, no, it is not too late to apply for the scholarship. If you've already submitted your 4K enrollment, your First Steps application, and just need to have that open back up, just email me and then I'll be able to send you a link to edit your application and add that section on. And same goes if you need to add a sibling to your application, just reach out to me and I can send you that link, and we can have the siblings added. And so it's any siblings 0 to 12.
Okay. And one more question regarding 4K Plus. There's a question about what is it? What is 4K Plus scholarship?
So the 4K Plus scholarship is for any First Steps 4K student and then their siblings, 6 weeks to 12 years old. And it will just help cover the cost of any before or after school care, and then also care for when the 4K program is 4K school is closed for a week or more. So the summer 2027, winter break, Thanksgiving break, and then also spring break is covered. And for the 4K student, it'll be 38 half-time weeks, so part-time, and then 14 full-time weeks. And those 14 full-time weeks are the schools. And I'll retype my email just so everybody can see it.
Okay, thank you. Now, this question regarding having access to Ready Rosie now, teachers have to invite you to their classroom in Ready Rosie. And so they have not set those up yet for the 26-27 school year because they don't have the full caseload of students that they will be receiving. So once the teachers are able to set that up, they can invite you to Ready Rosie, and then you will have access to it. So hopefully that answers that question about Ready Rosie. And the playlist, it does come to you via text or email. The app has been discontinued. So there's no longer an app. Let's see who's gonna get this one. Shine, I think I haven't gone to you in a while. So I'm gonna bring this one back to you. Are children required to be potty trained?
Are children required to be potty trained is the question?
Yes, to
No,
be accepted into 4K.
no, they're not required to be potty trained to be accepted to 4K.
Yeah, that's one of the cool things about us partnering with childcare centers that do have the ability to be able to potty train at their schools, with having infants and toddlers. Now, some programs we partner with only have from 4 years old and up. They may not have that infant through 3 year olds, but for those that do, that's a plus that they have that capability. Yep. I should have gave you a harder one, Shina. That was too easy. Summer camp. Chelsea, you want to take that one? Do we provide summer camp?
So we do not provide summer camp, but what we do provide is some of our schools go through. Our schools can choose if they want to be a 180-day provider or a 220-day provider. So you will want to make sure that when you're signing up for your school of choice, that it's a 220-day provider if you want to have that school coverage. Now, it's not going to be a camp where they could do like water play and all these totally different things every day of rotation. They will continue the curriculum throughout the summer. And why we do that is because there is something that is kind of known as a summer slide when kids are transitioning into kindergarten, where they will lose some of the things that they have learned naturally just because they're not being exposed to it daily. And so when you choose a program that has a summer enrollment of 220, then you can continue that learning without them losing it. And it actually continues them growing even more. So they're even more ready for kindergarten. So just make sure your school has that option if that's what you want.
Yes, thank you. Amanda, is there a nap time?
Mhm.
And what should they expect from nap time?
There is a rest time. A lot of them, if they've been in care before, are used to a much longer nap time. But once we hit 4K, 45 minutes is the cap. So they're not getting into that deep, deep sleep. It's more of just a rest time to prepare for the rest of the day. And I saw somebody ask about it. If they're used to that full 2 hour nap, it might be time to start thinking about adjusting bedtime a little bit earlier, wake up a little bit earlier. I usually tell people try to do it in like 10 to 15-minute increments instead of trying to just shift everything up by an hour at once. But start that transition early so they get in that habit of not having that full deep sleep in the middle of the day.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And we do want to acknowledge that some parents may need to drop off because we do understand that this session was designed for an hour. But if you want to remain on until about 1:30, we're going to take some more questions and hopefully we can answer as many more questions that we can. Because right now I have about 50 questions in the chat and 20 in the Q&A. So we're going to try to answer as many as possible. But please feel free. We do understand that we have it recorded. And so the recording will be available. We're going to make it available to all providers so that they can share this link out to you during their orientation. So if you don't get it all today, you will be able to look back on the recording. And we do appreciate you all for joining us today. We're going to hang on until 1:30 and answer some more questions. But for those who have to drop off, we do appreciate you for joining today. Okay. So I mentioned that about orientation. And one of the questions is what to expect, when to expect orientation in the first day of school. So the first day of school is August 5th. Am I right, ladies? The first day of school for First Steps 4K is August 5th. Now, some providers have requested a change in start date. So please check with your school of choice on their first day of school because some have asked to start later. The orientation, we are asking that each provider host orientation before school starts. So you would need to check again with your school of choice about when that orientation will be held. Okay. So we talked earlier about that homeschool connection. Communication is key. You have to find out from your school of choice about those particular answers or how it pertains to their school. Okay. Bayless, for a child whose ABC vouchers ended, are they still eligible for 4K plus?
Yes, so the 4K plus scholarship is not affected by the current pause. I'm assuming that's what this question might be about, and if it's not, please just email me and I can maybe look into this case specifically. And but yes, the 4K plus application is we're still accepting applications and it's not affected by the pause. So if you were previously denied for the working family scholarship, the that doesn't affect your 4K plus eligibility.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, this is a really good question. Do you have staff from First Steps 4K in the classrooms? The answer to that is yes. Chelsea, Amanda, Shina, all of these faces and many more coaches are in and out of classrooms every day. Anyone wants to share about how frequently you visit classrooms? Shauna's looking like she wants to answer that one. I gave her an easy one the last time. I'm going to give her this one.
Well, apparently I kept hitting the button for audio and it wouldn't come on. So yes, we visit the classrooms. Our goal is always visit classrooms twice a month. And when we visit those twice a month, we're visiting at least 2 hours each time. So you can ensure that we will visit the classrooms at least twice a month. And that's a total of 4 hours. And also, we are in constant communication with the teachers. That's weekly. I'm pretty sure Chelsea and Amanda can agree on that part. We stay in contact with our teachers about resources, questions they may have. So it's we're I would say that we're truly a fabric or part of that classroom because we truly are there to help the teachers be successful and also your children too. So we want everybody to be successful. So we're there to be of support to that. So
Chelsea, can you add to that if a program or a student needs speech therapy or occupational therapy or any different any additional services such as that, what can they expect?
Sure, if you feel like your child has some more needs that maybe you need to have evaluated, we go through something that we call Child Find, which is in the school district. And it goes through your local school district, so according to your address. So wherever you live and wherever your local school district would be is who you would reach out to get that evaluation. You can also get evaluated by your pediatrician as well, and they'd be able to help you. But if you want to have an actual um, IEP or speech services or whatever the case may be, as far as like gross motor skills and things like that, it does need to go through Child Find, and you just set up an appointment and they will evaluate your child and see if they meet those necessities to have those services.
Perfect. Thank you. Amanda, do they need to buy school supplies?
No, you don't. um, I think so we provide all of the crayons, paper, markers, color pencils. First Steps does provide that to all of our centers. Um, Now some centers might ask you to bring, a backpack or a blanket or things like that, case by case. But as far as going out like an elementary school and buying actual supplies, no, First Steps provides all of that.
Perfect. And there's a question here that asks about communication and updates from their provider. So there's going to be communication that happens throughout the school year. So there's communication that will come to you from our office here in Columbia. We call this the state office. And so you'll get that via that newsletter or via text message. You may even receive an email. But there's also updates that will come from your school of choice. And so just make sure that you have that updated email or phone number on file with your school of choice. And you will receive communication updates from them. There's also a question about school calendars. We do have a 4K calendar. It's a generic calendar for the entire state. And so schools can choose to modify and adjust that calendar if they need to, and some of them do. And so they are responsible for sharing their version of that calendar with you, along with their daily schedule. So what time their program is going to start, what time you're considered to be tardy, all of those things will come from your provider of choice. All right, Bayless, I'm seeing some more questions about 4K Plus. If the voucher ends this Friday, 2 weeks without school, can the voucher be able to extend for those 2 weeks until school starts?
So unfortunately, no, the start date is still 8/3, even if you do have a 2-week gap. So unfortunately, you would be responsible for that 2-week gap.
Perfect. I'm looking to make sure I didn't miss any. Okay. Since there's no longer nap time, but rest time, do we bring blankets and sheets?
Yes. Just jump in and say yes, because even when it's 45 minutes rest time, the kids are still resting. So you might want to check with your provider. Some provide cots, some provide mats. So you would need to bring a sheet to go over that mat or cot. And then, yes, a blanket so your child can snuggle when he or she is sleeping for those 45 minutes.
Thank you, Shina. Who can I email about IEP ADH support for my son during the school year? Email me. I'll put my email in the chat. If your student has an IEP, please reach out to me and we can discuss that. And I'm going to put my email address in the chat for you. Let's see. How soon should we hear from the provider regarding first day? If you have not heard from your provider yet, reach out to them after the session. When you're done today, call them and find out some information about the first day of school. Some of them are still in summer session. When's the last day of summer session? The 21st?
The 21st, next Tuesday, is the last day for summer session.
Yep. So next Tuesday is the last day for summer session. Many of them are still in the 25-26 school year, and so they may be getting that information out to you once they close out the summer session. Are you able to tell me the name of the 4K director from my child's school? If you can reach out to our team, we can let you know which school you selected, and we can provide you with that information to contact that provider. Ooh, Amanda, you talked about naps earlier. What if my child isn't used to napping in the middle of the day? What happens if they don't nap?
So they'll most likely be asked just to rest quietly. And then after a certain amount of minutes, there's usually quiet activities that they can do as long as they're not disrupting the class. So a lot of people will provide books or Play-Doh or like quiet things that they can do in their rest spot. So no one's forced to sleep. It's more of just a quiet time.
All right. Would there be community activities for families outside of the classroom? Have any of you experienced any activities for families outside the classroom? Opportunities for them to participate? I know, like the graduation I went to yesterday, she had three different parents talk about their 4K experience. And then there were opportunities for some of the parents to come in throughout the school year to talk about maybe their jobs and how it relates to that study. So there's definitely opportunities in the classroom to participate. I'm not sure about outside of the classroom, maybe going on field trips and attending as a chaperone, but you would want to reach out to your provider about that. Do you ladies want to add anything to that one?
Yeah, I'll add a little bit. I know Shayla knows a lot about this as well, but we do require the teachers to provide at least 3 different engagement activities for the families, which one is a literacy event that you're invited to come to. And I don't know if sometimes it depends on who your provider is. Sometimes it will be after school, but sometimes it's during the school day. It just depends on when they can fit it in and when they can do it. And then they have a math engagement event where you as families would come and engage with your child and learn about all the math and literacy things they're learning in the school day. And then we also require them to do an end of the year graduation where you're invited to kind of celebrate that end of the year. So those are 3 things that we require. But as far as your provider, they could do a whole lot more than that. Field trips, volunteers, etc. So it really just depends on what your provider provides for you guys.
Mhm.
And also, you will be asked to attend conferences, like family conferences, at least 3 times throughout the year to go over your child's progress. That's another
Yeah.
opportunity to be involved.
Thank y'all are on it. Yes. Workshops, conferences, we want you there. So thank you for mentioning that. How does staggered entry work? So on the 4K calendar, and I'm taking it that this person either saw the calendar already or has already had a conversation with their director about staggered start. And so anyone want to take that, or y'all prefer I take that one? Like Shayla, if you're willing. So with the staggered entry, and that's up to the provider to decide how that looks for them. They can start one group for 1 or 2 days and then have the second group come for the 3rd and 4th day. So they would just stagger the students on how they start on their start date. So, and that gives children the opportunity to explore the classroom and the environment without the entire class being there. It also gives the teacher an opportunity to introduce that child to the environment without the entire class being there on day 1. But that is provider choice if they're going to start everybody on day 1 or if they're going to do the staggered start. Now, there's a question about bringing water bottles and bringing their own meals. Um, Amanda, what would you say about students bringing their own meals or bringing water bottles?
At least in all the classrooms that I've been in, everyone's been welcome to bring a water bottle and their lunch. Um, Lunch is provided free of charge for everybody. I saw a question about that in most of our programs, if not all.
Oh,
All. Thank you. So yeah, just but it usually is an option that I would just talk to your individual teacher about. I know some of my centers will do coolers and disposable cups instead of water bottles, but in general, all of that's fine.
yeah. So that's another question where you want to talk to the provider because individual providers may have different expectations. Um, like if they are, I hate to use acronyms, but there's a program called CACFP, and we call that the food program. And if they are participating in the food program will not allow them to have outside food brought into the school. So that particular provider may say to you that you can't bring meals. But all of our providers are expected to provide breakfast, lunch, and snack and beverages. Um, but as Amanda shared, that others who may not be participating in CACFP, then they may um, do it a little differently. But we do ask that every provider offers for you breakfast, lunch, snack, and beverages. Ooh, I see about the community garden. I like that. And there's some programs that have cafeteria. They can eat lunch in the cafeteria or in the classroom. Um, Lunch money is not required for 4K because we ask them to provide breakfast, lunch, and snack for all students. So you should not have to pay for meals. Ah, somebody said they have the calendar printed already. Look at you. Whoop, whoop. That's what I call somebody that's ready. Taking a look at it. Talking about lunchtime, snack time. We answered that. Ooh, how many students are in one classroom, Chelsea? What's the max capacity for a 4K classroom?
So our max is 20. It will never go above that, but it does depend on where you're going to school because it depends on the classroom size. We measure by square footage and we always have a 1 to 10 ratio. So if you have 10 students in a classroom, you will have one teacher. And if you have above 10 in a classroom, you will have two teachers, but it will never go above 20. So that's our max.
Very good. Now, this is a fun question. I like this question. And for those of us who like children books, I guess that's why it's so fun for me. But are there any books out there that you would suggest that parents read about getting ready for school? Like, what's that book that comes to mind for you? So maybe each of you can take a turn at that one.
I'll go
And
first. I
even if it's
mean,
not a children's book, maybe it's a book for a parent that they could read. What would you recommend?
I don't have a specific book that goes with the beginning of school. I mean, there is some that's like getting ready for pre-K and things like that. They're not as super, sometimes as engaging, but my recommendation is read, read. Just read all of the time with your child. Make a schedule if you're reading before bed, if you're reading when they wake up in the morning. Anytime you have, you should be reading with your child. And there are so many great books out there that are just so engaging and so fun. But that is the first start of literacy, and that is how your child is going to get used to reading and hearing reading. So read all the time.
Yes.
I agree. Reading is the number one thing. read all the time. You ask, what is a book that I recommend? And there's so many books that I could recommend, but since kids are starting and they're the first day of school, I'm gonna go with I Am Enough by Grace Bowers. It talks about, walking to the classroom can be a lot of things, but when a child is enough, I see my worth. I see, what I am to others. It talks about kindness, self-acceptance. It's there. The purpose is that they're more than enough. They're there. It's I love the book if you cannot tell. I really love the book, but it helps that child helps with that self-confidence that he or she that I am enough. I can handle this. I am going to breathe and I am going to have a great 4K year. So it's called I Am Enough by Grace Bowers.
Really good book. Thank you, Shina. So, tip number 1, read, read, read. 2, I Am Enough by Grace Bowers. And Amanda, what do you have for us?
Well, I just looked at the question and I'm like, I have a million books like the the night before preschool and the pigeon's first day of school and all that fun stuff. That you could find at your library when you just search like school books. But in terms of, I think if you're asking like what you can do with your child to prepare, I think it's really just communicating with your child's teacher. You're reading, you're doing things in your everyday life. You're helping them write grocery lists. You're helping them, if I have 5 people at the table and only 4 plates, how many more do I need? Just like things like that are going to be so much more beneficial than a book that I could give you to prepare them for kindergarten. So just incorporating learning into your everyday life. And things like Ready Rosie will help, but also your child's teacher is a really great resource for ways to connect with their learning at home and at school. And if you really wanted to look, the South Carolina Early Learning Standards are open for anybody. If you just Google those to see like at what ages and kind of where kids should be.
Awesome. Thank you. See, I knew you guys were the right ones to answer that question. And Bayless, we have a few more questions about 4K Plus. And so one of the questions is, if my child doesn't have 4K Plus, will he or she not be able to attend when school is closed for breaks, or do they have to pay out of pocket?
So that would be specific to each provider and what the provider's schedule is over those breaks. But yes, you would be responsible for that difference between for the cost of those breaks if you're not if approved through the 4K plus.
Yes, and 4K Plus is wraparound care. So that's before the 4K day starts or once the 4K day ends. So you have the 4K scholarship, which covers you for 8 hours a day or 6.5 hours a day. And then 4K Plus is like a supplemental that fills in for that before or after.
Yes.
All right, thank you. And is there a way that they can see which schools accept 4K Plus?
Yes, so any ABC quality provider will accept the 4K plus scholarship. It's similar to ABC scholarships, or it's but through the same program. And so you can type in your zip code on the ABC quality website and find providers near you.
Awesome. It's great to have you on here, Bayless. I don't
Thank
know if I would
you.
have done just a great job answering those 4K plus
Thank you.
questions. And so I have another question about students who are bilingual. Amanda, you knew I was coming to you, didn't you? I know I saw you sensed it. So
Yeah.
what would you say about students who are bilingual?
So our providers, we have a ton of kids that are still learning English. And so our teachers do a really great job of trying to incorporate little phrases. They might kind of Google Translate how to say hello and those kind of things. But providers, they'll have pictures to use to support. We have a visual schedule so they know what's coming next. Everything in the classroom should be labeled with words and pictures. to help them learn. And honestly, being immersed in English all day from other kids and teachers, you'll be amazed how quickly the students really do pick up on English.
Thank you. Okay, so there's some questions about calendars. So this is telling me folks are looking at the calendar, which is good. Half days. So that's something that's new for us this school year. On having those half days. And the question is, are half days still in first that's 4K like normal school calendars? And so with a half day for us, our teachers are expected to be in training for the other half of the day. So your students will dismiss early from 4K. But if your child is at a private child care center or any other entity, they may still have opportunities for you to for the child to stay for the remainder of the day. So that's something that you want to talk to them about is if they're going to be, do you have to pick them up by 12 o'clock? Or is there going to be another opportunity for them to stay with a different teacher because their 4K teacher will be in training on those half days? So for us, that 4K day will end half day because the teacher will be in training on those half days. I see, can y'all see my question? If you put it in the chat, I might be able to see it. I don't know if we happen to bypass it. And we do understand that some people would have to jump off. We're just kind of going through as many questions as we can um, until about 1:30. But this session is recorded and it will be available for about 2 weeks. And so we're going to send the recording out to all of the schools and they'll be able to share that link, this link with you. So it is recorded. Um, does the 4K students have to wear uniforms? I think we talked about that one. Are they allowed book bags and are they required to bring any other change of clothes? So we talked about uniforms and uniforms are dependent upon the school. First, does 4K does not require uniforms, but some providers do have uniform policies. So you will have to check with your school about that. But any other supplies, we provide all the materials for the classroom. But what about change of clothes, ladies? What do you think? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Are we bringing change of clothes? Shina, take it away.
I'm like, maybe I answered this one. Are we bringing changing clothes? I'm going to always say yes. It's good to have a set of changing clothes there. You know, we might be in the sand study or the water study, and we might get our clothes wet. Or if that's a child that might have an accident, you know, we need to have changing clothes there. So I'm always team, at least have one set of changing clothes there in case something happens. That's how I'm team that because I'm all about messy play. I'm all about having kids having fun. And if they have an accident, I want to make sure that they have the clothes there so they can feel good about themselves. You know?
Yes. And if you can see, our team is also chiming in the chat and they're texting me saying, yes, yes, yes. Bring a change of clothing. Absolutely. And so before we wrap up today, I want to give you an opportunity to put in the chat for us one last time an emoji on how you're feeling now. You've gotten all this wonderful information. Thank you so much to our team for being here today, for answering these questions. You can put your words in the chat or your emojis about how you're feeling. I see some excited. I see some celebrations. Very good. We like to see it. If there was by chance that your question did not get answered today, please feel free to reach out to a member of our team or to your 4K provider of choice, and we will ensure we get those questions answered for you. You can email me or call me. I'm here to answer any additional questions for you. I'm loving all those emojis that saying that you are feeling warm and loved and excited. And so again, thank you all for joining us today. Thank you to our panelists. Thank you, Bayless, for joining us as well. And thank you, parents. I hope that your students have a wonderful 2026-2027 school year. I like to say happy new school year. So we will see you then. Have a great day.